Hello, podcast listeners. This is Chris Plum, and this is the Off the Deck podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Excited to be bringing you our special guest, a Miss Veronica Burchill. Veronica is a 2016 grad of Carmel High School and a 2020 grad at the University of Georgia. At Carmel High School, she is a 15-time state champion, so 15 out of 16, which is amazing when you think about it. She is a two-time USA National Junior Team member in 2015 and 2016. She's an NCAA All-American, and she also swam and represented the United States in 2018 and 2019 Shore Course Worlds and World University Games. I know she's training and preparing right now for the 2021 U.S. Olympic trials. But before we bring Veronica, we'll have our moment with Chris Plum talking about, quote, "I don't know if it's right. I just know it works. There are no such things as setbacks. All those things you need to overcome are just opportunities for you to get stronger, for you to get better. It is all a part of the process." And I just want to talk about that process. The process in swimming, and I'm sure any part of your life, comes back to handling what you can in that moment, controlling what you can control. And we don't have the past. The past is gone. The future hasn't come. All you have is this moment, and giving everything you can to that moment, to that challenge you're facing right now. That's what it is all about. We talk about it all the time at swim practice. Handle this rep, handle this 50, handle this stroke count. Do what you can in that moment, and that's how you're going to achieve success. When you're consistent and being in that moment and being in the process, that is how you're going to be successful. And I know this young lady, she did a great job when she was here at Carmel. I know she did that at Georgia, and she's doing that today. Please welcome our special guest, Veronica Burchill. Veronica, welcome. How are you today?
Hey, Chris, doing well. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. I know you're currently in Knoxville. What's life like there today?
So we had practice at 8:45 this morning, and today we actually just have a single. So we're just tomorrow's a lift day, and we lift usually Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or sometimes Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And so kind of just a normal day for the most part, besides a double. So our doubles kind of change depending on the college team schedule, and yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, well, I know you're gearing up and getting ready, but before we get into that, tell us a little about growing up and a little bit of your history, how you ended up where you are today.
So obviously I swam for Carmel Swim Club
Yep.
since I think maybe since I was 8 years old, I think, but I've been swimming since since I was 6. And yeah, I think growing up through the program, I kind of didn't start getting good until I think I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. And it wasn't until the Omaha training trip in 2012 where I kind of got to see Olympic trials and not compete for the first time ever. And like I said, I didn't compete, but I really took so many incredible takeaways from that meet. I remember being in the stands and watching Desi James, I think it was, swim either the 100 or 200 backstroke or something, and saying, oh my gosh, I want to be there, I want to do that. And so ever since that trip, I really felt like I wanted to continue getting better at the sport and see what I could do and see how far I could go and just have fun with it. So at the end of that summer in 2012, I got my first junior national cut, and it was in the 50. And I remember Ian Murray being really mad.
He's still mad about that today.
Yeah, I just talked to him recently, and I'm sure that's probably one of the funniest things still to this day, because he probably still wishes it was the 100 at least, but that's okay. And
he's still trying to get you to swim the 200 IM at conference, but those days are past, right?
Yeah, I don't compete a lot of short course yards anymore. So,
right.
And you don't want to see me do breaststroke long course anymore. So, but yeah, so I mean, I was part of 2 national junior teams in high school, and that was really fun. And kind of really through, my experiences at Carmel, then I ended up, swimming at Georgia, and my, all experiences that I had leading up to where I am now, they weren't perfect, but I'm really grateful for all the, experiences that I did have. And I'm so thankful for the trials and tribulations that it contributed to where I am now, because I wouldn't be as strong mentally as a person and an athlete. So I don't know if I used the right terminology there, but it wasn't always easy, but I think that's made me so much stronger. And I really enjoyed, persevering through all the difficult times. And, last year was really hard in terms of, it was almost a year ago, I think last Friday on March 12th, since I got the call that my last NC2As was canceled.
Yeah.
And after that, I kind of just said, I don't think I'm done with this sport. I want to keep going no matter how long that is. And yeah, and then I signed with the Cali Condors and went to ISL, and now I'm here in Knoxville.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. You were in Budapest. How long was that trip?
It was about 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks in a foreign country, getting COVID tested every day, swimming in this unique format. What
Yes.
I know that was 6 weeks, and I know you guys had to do so many things, and I know it had to be an amazing trip. But what did you feel like you really learned? I mean, over those 6 weeks, what were the maybe one or two things you could take away from that experience in particular?
I think it kind of relates back to what you were introing with the controllables a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that was a huge aspect to kind of how I could handle those 6 weeks, because, you're across the seas, you're in a bubble, and you can't, you can have we had communication with the outside world, but we couldn't physically go, a certain amount of miles outside of our hotel. And we had outside time every single day, but I learned to control the controllables even more so than I did, it just kind of reinforced that. And then I think also listen to your body, because ultimately I think growing up, I didn't do that. I kind of just, and that's fine as an age group swimmer. I think it's important to just focus on the details and grind. But as you get older, and I'm not old, I'm 23. But
yeah, let's be careful what we call old around here.
And I know I'm not old, but in the sport, I'm a little bit older compared to some of the other swimmers that are at my level. That, because right now a lot of the younger athletes that are, like 18 and 17 through 18, and they're really doing well right now. And as you get older, it's just harder to consistently train at an elite level, depending on, how you're feeling your body, how you're recovering, and all that good stuff. So I really just tried to listen to my body while I was overseas, because, one day there was this one day where I was feeling really drained, and I felt like I just needed the morning off to kind of recover and take care of what I needed to do stretching wise, and like foam rolling, all that. And so that particular instance definitely helped my afternoon practice, and it was one of the best practices that I had over the camp. So yeah, just really listening to my body and learning that we know our bodies best, especially as professional athletes. And it's important to be in tune with what you're feeling.
Yeah, and I think that brings up a great point, right? You just had to take ownership of yourself. I think over there, it sounds to me like you really learned how to advocate for yourself and listen to yourself. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. I think that I was kind of in a transitional period, because I knew that I was going to be leaving Georgia soon, and I was already ready for my move to Knoxville. And so I kind of, on a side note, I don't think that I think that it was kind of an awkward time for me, because I was still being coached by Sean Schimmel, who was, my Georgia pro coach. And then I also knew that I wasn't going to be there for that long. So I think that kind of in between, I had to really take ownership of what I felt I wanted and needed. And so, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And, now that you're in Knoxville in Tennessee. Going from being a collegiate athlete, the whole team, and I know, and we could talk about this a little bit later. You're, at least in my mind, just a tremendous relay swimmer, right? We'll hit that a little bit later. But so, what's it like going from you're on a team and you got to be there for everybody to now it's like, I know you're on a team, but you really like you have selfish goals right now, right? And what's that like for you?
It's so different.
Yeah.
I can relate it back to high school to college to now. It's been, I can't lie, it's been really difficult. And not because I think ultimately when I was in high school and college, like I always wanted to be a leader and made sure that I was doing everything, even if I wasn't, even if I was an underclassman and I wasn't a captain or anything like that. I wanted to make sure that I was exuding leadership qualities all the time. And nowadays it's weird for me because I'm doing it all for myself. And it's been a little bit of a struggle because although I like focusing on myself, I do miss that doing it for something bigger than myself aspect of it.
Right.
So yeah, that's been kind of a big change.
Yeah. Yeah. If we could maybe kind of go back in time to your high school days, so you were 15-time state champ. I mean, that you just got the one and you would have tied a teammate of yours. But 15 times, but how many of those were relays, Veronica? I don't know exactly, but
I swam 3 relays every year that won, so 12.
So 12 relays.
Mm-hmm.
When you approached those meet and you knew you were going to be on 3 relays, what was your mindset going into that?
Well, I remember freshman year you talking to me, and so it was when the lineup officially came out for the first time, and I'm a baby freshman. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I,
Chris is talking to me. What does this mean?
And I actually remember this conversation. We're looking at the lineup on the wall, like you guys post it, and I don't know if you do that now still. Maybe you do. But,
COVID restrictions, we gotta hand them out now.
Oh, gotcha.
No,
and so I remember, looking at it posted on the wall and seeing 3 relays and going, wait, isn't that not how it's supposed to go?
Right.
And you pulled me to the side after and you said, hey, I think you said my full name because you hadn't started calling me VK yet, but you said, hey, Veronica, I really need you on these relays. And I trust you so much. So, and I think you're a great team player. So how do you feel about it? And I was like, awesome. I was like, okay, like, let's do this. And it just kind of became, obviously a theme throughout the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And so, I just kind of approached all the relays like, these score the most points. These are the most important swims for the team. And I have to give my all no matter what. So I don't know. I feel like I've personally always been a really good team player and wanted to sacrifice, I guess, in a sense, those individual titles for something that I could do with my teammates. And ultimately those were the most fun relays or the most fun events anyways, because I was with all my girls and it was really fun. And I think I just had a really fun time with it. And I think it just translated into college, and I always wanted to do that because it was the most fun and it was really completely the most rewarding as well.
Yeah. And I think that leads to, if I look at you and why you were successful, I think the social part and the relay part was crucial for your success. Mm-hmm. And every time we go to a meet, Veronica, you'd be the first one to go see all your friends from other teams and things like that. Do you think your success and why you love the sport so much because of your relationships, and talk to us about what that means to you?
Completely. Yeah. I had one of my best friends in the entire world is Kendall Smith, who transferred moved to Carmel when she was either in 7th grade or 8th grade. And her and I actually roomed together on the Omaha trip in 2012, and that's where we became actually like really good friends. And so, kind of just to start off with that friendship, I mean, she was my dryland partner all throughout high school, and that friendship specifically really got me through all the difficult times in training and difficult times in high school in general, and made the good times even better. So yeah, and I think I went on I only went to 2 national junior team camps, but also we had some random camps in Indiana as well, where I would meet people from other teams. And anytime I race someone, especially at state meets and stuff, I always try to say good job after the end of every race. And I think that I'm actually more of an introvert than it might seem when I'm at swim meets, and I think that from me
Yeah,
a little bit.
absolutely.
But I think that it's just kind of my personality. Like, I always wanted to make sure that I said hi to everyone that I could while I had the time to. And I think the relationships that I've built throughout the sport have been so meaningful to me, because I've met some of my best friends, and then I've also, just grown up with these people that make an impact on my life. So that's kind of all I got to say about that. But I really do value all those friendships and relationships in general. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about the times you go, it's about the times you have, right?
Definitely. That's something that I've always kept with me for sure. And I even more so now have to remember that, because there's, to speak completely honestly, I had a really hard time in Budapest because I wasn't swimming very well, or
Yeah.
at least not up to my standards. And that was another big takeaway, not to go back to that too much, but that was a big takeaway from the whole experience, is that I loved my teammates and I loved making new friends, and the things that I learned from other people, outweighed all the bad swims. So, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of important relationships in your life, I know you swam with your sister
Yes.
for 3 years in high school and 3 years in college.
Mm-hmm.
And she's about to compete in the NCAA coming up here soon.
Yes.
So look at that smile on your face. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
what was it like swimming with your sister? What were some of the good times, and maybe did you have any tough times where you guys fought about stuff, or if you're willing to share any of those?
Well, to start off, we never really fought about swimming stuff.
Right.
It was always just normal sister stuff.
Yeah.
But I think having her by my side really, I guess to start off, in high school, one of my favorite memories was swimming my senior year 400 free relay at the end of the state meet with her. And I remember I fought so hard, but she definitely fought harder to have that spot. But I remember kind of being like, hey, you guys should put her on that relay. Not that I doubt my...
She gave every opportunity she had. She
Exactly.
made sure that hey, Chris, you see that 100 free there? Like she brought it up.
So, it wasn't for me to say whether or not she, deserved that, because that was all her, for sure. But I do remember, just thinking, oh, that would be so cool if that happened. But yeah, that was one of my favorite memories. And looking back, just to finish off high school, my last high school race with her was something that I'll always cherish. And in college, it was definitely a learning curve, because we were in a completely new place with completely different people. So we definitely had some challenging times together. And we both had completely different experiences at Georgia, and in no bad way or anything. It's just because we are different people. It was different. I mean, she swims, 2:04 IM, 200 back, and I'm a sprinter. So even with what we race, it was different. So she was really close to making NC2As all her first 3 years. And then this year she makes NC2As, and she actually thought she was done swimming after SECs and made it kind of unexpectedly. And I think it's just that it attributes to how much work she put in in her whole swimming career, but especially over the past year, and made the most of the pandemic, because she just hammered down. I couldn't be more proud of her. I mean, I looked up to her when we were at home in quarantine, because she was just crushing it day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I got to step up my game, because she's just such a badass. I mean, having her by my side, that was a really in-depth, detailed description. But yes, having her by my side has meant the world to me.
Yeah. And then, obviously I work with your dad currently, but your
Yeah.
dad, he, I just know how much he cares for you and your brother and sister. And he would go to the nth degree to see you guys swim and to support you. But what was it like having your dad, who's also a swim coach, be your dad too? Like, was there any times where it got, hectic, or like, what was that relationship when you have a father who's a coach?
There's always going to be a balance of relationships, I think. And I'm sure you can relate as...
Yeah, I'm actually looking for advice right now on my own two kids.
So I think what my dad did really well when we were a lot younger, he didn't really talk much swimming with us at all, at least from what I remember.
Yeah.
This could be different with my sister, but from my perspective, I don't remember him talking a lot about swimming. I think he would, be really excited for us, and, obviously, good job and everything. But he didn't try to talk specifics. He was just a supportive dad, always there. And when we wanted to talk specifics, he would say, like, if you want me to give you my input, then I'm happy to. But if not, then I'm good just saying good job and offering support whenever we needed it. So I don't know. I think there was always a good balance, because he was never too pushy, and I think he really let us have our own space in the sport and grow. And I think that it was, obviously he's, like you said, he's back at Carmel now, and I think it was really important for us to have our own swim journeys and be coached by other people. I remember when I was really young and he was, still coaching at Carmel, he, back in the day, he, like, all the older kids would be like, oh, like, it's Veronica and Sammy, like Tom's kids. And then, when he wasn't there, I think we really just, Sammy and I, flourished kind of on our own. And it was important for us to have that space to make the sport our own and have our own journey without him giving too much input. But obviously, like, we went to him if we had specific advice, or, what did that look like? So, but really, we Sammy and I think I can talk for, I think, both of us when I say we really trusted our own coaches, and we wanted to just have our dad be our dad a lot of the time. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think for any of those parents out there listening today, that's great advice. And I remember hearing a story about Archie Manning, Peyton Manning's dad, and he told his kids, I will help you quarterback or do whatever, but you have to ask. So I think your dad did it right there. Like, I'll help you, but you've got to ask for it first, right? So
I agree completely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate your time. We're going to get into some of the fast finishers. There's some sprints here at the end.
Okay.
So I hope you're ready for this, Veronica.
I'm as ready as I can be, I think.
Well, I know how much you like to go fast at the end. Like, that's one of your favorite things, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and you hate to lose.
I do.
There are no wrong answers here, though. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Who would you like to do a social kick with? Anybody in history?
Oh my gosh. Caleb Dressel.
Caleb Dressel. Okay, good answer. All right. What song would you least like to pop up during a workout?
Some type of, I can't pick a specific song, but some type of, like, screamo music would be terrible.
What kind of? I'm sorry.
Like, just like heavy metal.
Oh, heavy metal. Okay.
I don't know.
Screaming music. Okay. All right. Would you rather swim in the deep end or shallow end?
Deep end.
Deep end all the way. Okay. Would you rather have to do reverse circle or a breath control set?
Breath control.
Okay. Yep. Reverse circle sucks, doesn't it?
No, it does.
Yeah. Got to turn a different way. What would be Veronica Burchill's favorite IM order? If you could choose any IM order, what would it be?
That's such a tough one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to say that it would be still butterfly, but then do breaststroke and then freestyle, then backstroke. But I have no idea because I'm just not. I have butterfly and freestyle down, but the two in the middle, I think the way it's set up now is probably not the best for my own personal strengths, but I don't know which one would be better.
Yeah. Now you did go 102 in the 100 breaststroke in high school. I'll just point that out. So.
But it was broken this year, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was. We did break that record.
I'm so happy with that.
Yeah, we're happy for that too. Would you rather kick or pull?
Kick, 100%.
Yeah, I know, right? Would you rather have to be in a lane or in a pool that is too cold or too warm?
Too cold.
Too cold. Oh, okay. Are you going first or are you going last? Lane leader or caboose?
First.
First. I knew it. I could answer that one for you. How many strokes in the 25 are you allowed on a kick set?
One.
Right. Yeah. Some of the people lane line. I thought now that you're a post grad, I wasn't sure if that was still the rule for you.
I got mad. I remember getting mad at people that would do more. So I always would stick to it one myself and make sure that I was leading by example.
Lead by example, right? Drag socks or pulleys?
Pulleys.
Pulleys, yeah. Okay. Probably 200 flyer, 400 IM.
200 fly.
Yeah, I knew that one. And lastly, what's your favorite Powerade or Gatorade flavor color?
Maybe blue.
Blue. Yeah, okay. All right.
I don't really know. I don't really have a favorite, but I guess it would be some sort of the blue.
Blue. You wouldn't mix them together? You don't have a mix?
Yeah, I think we had some fun mix. It was like the clear and the blue. It was some sort of green, like the green color. I don't know what flavor it was, but it was really good. I remember one day in college. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us who you're sponsored by and where you are. You get a plug for your sponsor right now.
So I'm sponsored by A3 Performance.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, so training with the Tennessee Elite Pro Group, and I am also a professional. I wouldn't say I'm a professional, but like I'm doing photography as a side business right now. So if I'm ever in Carmel, I'd love to take photos for family, friends, all that good stuff.
Do you have a website or Instagram people can follow?
I do have a website. It's linked on my Instagram, and my Instagram is VK Burchill, but my photography is Veronica Catherine Photo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Veronica, we thank you for your time today.
Yeah.
We wish you the best of luck coming up.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, Chris. Good to talk to you again and catch up.
Yeah, great to catch up. We'll see you.
All right. See you, Chris. Bye.